Hello, this is video journal 7 and today's video is about a patient encounter, 17-year-old boy whom I met the day before yesterday and for evaluation in terms of refilling his medication that was discontinued in February of this year. So he has been off of medication for at least 9 months now. Medications he was taking back then was Abilify, sertraline, buspirone, and for some reason sertraline was not working for him, so he had been put on Lexapro, which he was unable to get refilled, and so he was here back again in November to get all of his medications refilled all at once. He came in with his foster father. Patient was removed from his biological parents at the age of 7 years old. He had suffered severe neglect and abuse, including sexual abuse by one of his mother's, by his mother's boyfriend. And it was a terrible situation. There was a history of sexual abuse that included some binding, and there was quite a bit of trauma involved. Patient was not receiving any psychotherapy either. The reason that we were told as to why he was non-compliant with medications and therapy is because his medications refills or prescriptions have to be approved by DCS caseworker. Every time he gets a caseworker, that caseworker is replaced by another new caseworker. So therefore, he couldn't just manage to get a hold of someone who could approve his medication and he could get on it. He came in with complaints of severe anxiety, so much so that he would get angry, outbursts, he would lash out. But the child was appropriate at the time. He was very polite, calm, cooperative, linear thought. He did have fair insight into his problem, and he was in online schooling, and he wasn't doing very well at school. However, he did have a very optimistic outlook for his future. He did want to graduate high school. So eventually, we ended up contacting the caseworker while we were in office. We did not conclude the appointment until we got a hold of the caseworker. Got him first on Lexapro for his anxiety. We told him that mood stabilizers, as he had requested to be placed on first, were not the first line of action. So we did some education on medications, what is appropriate at this time for him. He agreed with the plan, and we placed a referral for a trauma-informed therapy, individual therapy, weekly basis while we were in the office. So the learning from this entire experience is that sometimes it is important to take things into your hand and make sure that there is follow through and come to a completion, because ultimately we are looking out for the patient, and there can be many hurdles, as we've just witnessed, between us coming up with a treatment plan and making sure that the plan is being executed as we had originally designed it. So therefore, there could be many hurdles in between and can cause the plan to fail. So that's why it's very important to take charge, because ultimately we should feel like the buck stops with us when it comes to patient care. So that was a good learning experience. It felt really good to help the child out, help the patient out. And we set up a follow-up appointment in 4 weeks. Typically, the wait time is 2 months for this clinic. It's a very busy clinic. But for this child, we made an exception. We made sure that we see him again in 4 weeks, so that we make sure that he's received his medications, he's filled out, he's taking it. Additionally, that he's into therapy, which is very important for someone who's not processed his trauma and has not developed many coping skills. And therefore, we are seeing all these anxiety and anxiety-related symptoms in him. Thank you.